Now I want you to look around the room. And I want you to notice that we're all affected by mental health conditions. And simply being here tonight was an incredible start to building a movement of people who are willing to be brave and be open and supportive to those who are struggling. We hope that you'll think that this is my brave, and you'll use this experience tonight as a way to start the conversation, as a way to keep it going as well. This means that we're living bravely.
That night was just, it was just incredible. It was like being on cloud nine after you've performed and you have that, all that build up to that night. And it was beautiful to see, because I'm sure that others, both on stage and in the audience, found healing in that some way. Because I think we can all identify, we can all have sympathy for survivors of trauma, but I think that whole show brought a new level of empathy.
Initiatives like this allow people to say, you know what, we want to hear you. We want to hear your story. We want you to be connected. We want you belong, you're included. And a big way of doing that is, let's hear your story.
On September 22nd, 2022, 12 courageous souls got together to share with their community their personal journey through the stigma of mental health. This is their story.
So This Is My Brave was probably one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. It was very interesting. It was very awkward, like when I first walked in, and like I had Penny, my service dog, with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are gonna think I'm a total weirdo, and it was just such an amazing experience. And I think the most important for me, not just was the friendship aspect of it with other survivors of trauma, but was for my own healing.
What I'm finding from This Is My Brave is that each of us has a piece, each of us has a line that needs to be read. In hearing our stories, we all get healed, we all get whole, we all get to be more human. And I think this experience allows us to be more human. It allows us to be ourselves.
This Is My Brave is an opportunity to bring people together across our community and speak to the challenges that they've faced, whether it be from an emotional standpoint, a traumatic standpoint, a interruption in getting their needs met, a substance abuse format, whatever they've experienced as they've dealt with their life circumstances, and how they've been resilient, how they've dealt with it, the ups and downs of the process. And by putting on this Is My Brave opportunity, it allows us to share across our entire community, not just Deerfield Beach, that stigma hurts all of us.
The day before my 19th birthday, they diagnosed me with bipolar disorder and PTSD. Like when you hear bipolar disorder, especially bipolar 1 with psychotic features, which is what I have, when you hear that, it sounds so scary. It sounds like, oh my God, what is this person? Like, they're kind of a monster. And I understand that because before I was diagnosed, I didn't know a lot about anything. And I also felt that way where I was like, oh, like that's scary. Like psychosis is like, oh, we wouldn't want to talk about that. But I feel like if people knew the symptoms and the signs, they would realize, okay, these people are just people. Like, I'm just a person. Like, there's so much more to me than, my mental illness. Like, I'm a person.
Cage is no more. My pain is now adored.
I have two sons that battles with mental health. And I've seen a lot of other children in the community who suffer with mental health. And I decided to say, maybe I can build a strategy that will help them try to overcome. It's a lot of times where, like, with the community, we don't speak as much. We just think that this is just our normal day-to-day and this is the way things are. We don't really say much about what's going on, and we just sit dormant. And sometimes we have to express ourselves. It's less stress that way.
Mental illness in the past, and I think not so much now, has been like more like, don't say anything to anybody, you know, keep it to yourself, they're going to think you're crazy, people look at you different. So when I saw this opportunity to tell my story and just have people be encouraged by my story and to tell them to stay and not commit suicide or hurt themselves, because there's so much life to be lived, and I'm just living a living example of that, and so I wanted to just speak to that.
I was diagnosed with depression disorder, general anxiety disorder, cocaine disorder, all these disorders, and as of 1 year, I'm off medication, and now I have a boxing studio that I train kids and youth, and also adults, that people who have experienced past trauma, and I help them deal with it and express their emotions and express their pain using boxing as a form of therapeutic interventions.
You can, you must, you will.
I went to rehab after I graduated from undergrad. About 2 weeks into my sobriety, it was the longest I had been sober in over a decade. I just wrote a poem, the poem that I performed at This Is My Brave, and it's like 4 minutes long, and I just, you know, pen to paper, just wrote. It just like came out.
You know, when you're depressed or stuff like that and people don't understand it, they're always like, just smile, you know? And that's not, like, this song's kind of like a dichotomy, because it's really like, you know, smile, but like, no, I have mental illness. It's not just going to go away from smiling.
I'm a suicide survivor. Pain changes anyone. It's really hard to deal with pain. And, you know, what is life without stress? Like, you know, you have to learn how to deal with stuff like that. And it's been pretty hard, but I came out strong.
I'd walk a mile to help him to find his smile.
I've always been into poetry, and but I've been busy with my kids and in the field. But I had some spare time, and I wrote a poem about my experience with parenting my son who has ADHD. It's hard for him to meet the expectation at school, staying focused on task. It's very hard for him. Kids make fun of his brother because they're like, why does your brother act that way? Or, you know, not understanding his symptoms of ADHD.
I think that stories are the way that we help each other. So the way that I look at it, if my story can help somebody else to see that in the moment of desperation, there's something you can do. Like in that moment when you're about to make a decision, that this actually made a change. Mental health is like everywhere. Everybody has something.
Friends, community, recovery.
The process of This Is My Brave, I feel like living in almost like isolation, you know, for a bit, like we were isolated in the process. And so every practice I would see a little bit more of people's personalities come out. I would understand a little bit more of their story. And then, you know, that helped me. Like I would understand a little bit more about why I did certain things or why certain things had happened in my life.
It's like an indescribable feeling when someone else like listens to your story and they say, oh, me too, you know, and you're like, wait, I'm not alone in this.
Just even up to the audition part of it, it was really intense. I think that was one of the most heart-wrenching auditions I've done before. And I remember I said my lines, I choked up on the last few lines, and then I just started bawling. I just started crying. I just let it out. I needed to let it out. It was like a holy moment for me. We were starting to learn each other and starting to do our first set of rehearsals. And for everyone to just allow me to just have that space and be vulnerable and cry and wail and just feel the moment. It was a very, very beautiful moment that I definitely can't forget from that time.
They always cared. They never leave my side. Unlike my dad.
I think the amount of rehearsals was definitely necessary each time, because I was struggling, you know, with my anxiety so badly around having to perform. And I think it allowed us, like if we had done one rehearsal, we wouldn't have really created like these, you know, relationships that we now can maintain for like the rest of our lives. I guess when I was like on stage actually doing it, it's almost like I leave my body or something when I'm performing in front of like a large group of people. So I just, when the video started, I just took my deep breath, and when the teleprompter started showing the words, I was like, I gotta go.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna survive on stage. It's gonna be so long. And then, like you say, it was so fast. It was just like, wow, you know, we just did that. And I think that was like a collective, like, oh my gosh, we literally just did that. And it was so cool for me. And I think even more cool for me was like knowing that my family saw a side of me that they had never seen.
To be in front of people experiencing my stories and telling my stories. A big thing about This Is My Brave is this whole idea of storytelling saves lives.
This Is My Brave's vision is to get to a place where one day we won't have to call it brave to speak openly about mental illness. We'll simply call it talking. You are about to experience something magical, and you will be transformed after this event. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Deerfield Beach Community Cares grew out of trauma and tragedy. But we all face trauma and tragedy. It knows no color, no race, no wealth barrier, nothing. Trauma and tragedy are the bane of our culture. But the opposite of trauma is recovery. It's hope. It's resilience. So I'd ask you to look at trauma as a cement sidewalk, thick and cracked, hard to get through. And I'd ask you to visualize one rose coming through that sidewalk. That's hope. That's resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a bouquet for you.
Bipolar, those months spent spiritually connected, happier than ever, better than expected. Who needs drugs? Bipolar, those months spent rolled up in my sheets, practicing smiles in the mirror, fake laughs for IG. Will this ever end? I was sitting in a room the size of my mother's closet. A piece of paper from the woman sitting opposite me. Check what applies to you. I wanted to scoff. I wanted to scream. I'm not mentally ill, so this must be a dream. Bipolar. Those years spent sleeping on time, taking my meds, not down or high. It's a treatable disorder. Bipolar, those years spent learning to love me and my illnesses linked to empathy and creativity. Perhaps it's not also bad. 4 years have gone by, a syringe of truth serum in the form of a word, changing my life from them. Bipolar. My son has lost his mom. I'm not sure when, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen his innocent smile. I'd walk a mile to help him find his smile. Retracing his steps to see where it might be. Hoping if someone has it, they will set it free. I just couldn't understand his diagnosis of ADHD. I now have come to see that ADHD is seen as a disability
due to the conformity that is expected of we. It can be hard to see that he is more than a kid with ADHD. He has God-given gifts and abilities. Even with ADHD, he's really handed. Even with ADHD, he's still my baby. When he is able to be free, is what we will see, his smile more consistently.
I remember looking out the window and watching you leave, unable to realize the web this turn of events will weave. At age 14, I had my first drink. I can survive this cold, cruel world, I began to think. Daddy, look, I'm at university now. I don't know how it happened, but I made it somehow. You going to Bible college and me at Tar Heel. We're doing it. He still wasn't there. But it's fine. I'll just drink until I don't notice, until I don't remember. Maybe my newfound friends were the root of my demise. Wait, I think I've said too much. I'll keep my words at bay. Maybe we should bow our heads. I think I need to pray. Father, forgive me for I have sinned. Father, give me the strength to love myself. Father, give me the willpower to choose you over my addiction. Father, please come home, because your little girl is tired of waiting and tired of being alone.
This headache is pulsating like my brain is about to explode. My inhalations feel as if my lungs are full as cotton. My back feels broken. My wrists are hot and inflamed, and they don't move like they used to. My knees feel as threaded. You can't really bend. Thinking about permanently closing my yoga studio adds more pressure to my head. Will I lose my battle? But I can make it all go away if I just happen to fly off the mountain of my 8th floor apartment. The agony living would disappear. The yogic teachings remind me about karma. If you jump, you'll have to deal with the karma, pay for each and every individual that you hurt, and then you'll have to come back in another lifetime anyway. Start my life all over, and the possibility of having to end up with my ex-husband again with added chronic debt that carries me by condition. No balcony for me. If I die of this virus, naturally, that's my destiny. In the meantime, I refocus, I recalibrate, so that when the inevitable thoughts of permanently quitting this life emerge, I change my physical position. If it worked for yoga master BKS Iyengar, who was suicidal at one point in his life, maybe it can work for me.
As I look inwards into my heart and soul, I face my demons and heal. I say you don't own me. I start over every day as a new day. I survive another day. I survive not knowing what my body is going to do to push me 10 steps back again. Survive the feeling of trying to do my best but crippling anxiety from an incident during my clinicals yet again. Survive the feeling of not wanting to hear the words, "You'd be a good nurse if you didn't have sickle cell." What is quality of life with a body that requires new parts every couple years like a car? It's a life worth living, a life spending gorgeous moments with my angels, a life meeting the most formidable, courageous, misunderstood, yet loving individuals, a life experiencing the worst, still life-changing moments a human in need could ever require. A journey so respectable, so judicious, so in-depth. A life worth living so I can say this too shall pass. I can't help but to hate this body, but love wins every time. So I chant sickle cell, depression, anxiety, PTSD, you don't own me, and love my body once more and fight. Yes, the Lord blessed me with many wonderful, memorable moments, but He also blessed me with a body to remind you, it could always be worse.
I remember feeling so depressed
When my mother died, I really felt there was no longer a reason to live. This made me turn to drugs to not feel pain. The only way to get through was to harm myself because I hated who I was and what I had turned into. This was the lowest coin in my life, and I found myself addicted to drugs at eventual home best. One day I prayed and asked the Lord if He could change me. I felt at the deepest part of my heart that I was crying out for help.
Valentine's Day of 2018 was like any other. It was the final period of the day at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The fire alarm rang, unusual because we already had a drill that morning. I heard kids screaming into the hallways when I suddenly heard them pop, pop, pop outside my classroom door. As the sound increased in rate and volume, I looked nervously at my classmates. Some of us crawled under the teacher's desk, huddling together in fear and desperation. What felt like only seconds later, I heard someone approach the front door. From my seat, I was able to see the butt of the shooter's rifle through the glass. He tapped on the door with the gun and yelled, "Open up." Thankfully, the door was locked and we moved down the hallway. The class next to ours became the first scene of carnage and destruction. I heard everything. The screams, the cries, the gunshots. I remember a numbness that enveloped me then. 20 minutes later, the glass of our classroom door shattered. I was convinced, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that this was my last moment on earth. For the next few weeks, I attended funerals and memorials. My house became a safe haven for the days following the tragedy. My closest friends, as well as classmates I didn't really know, all gathered just to be together. Difficult is an understatement, if I had to describe that time. I had no appetite, no desire to talk to anyone except friends who had been with me that day, and quite frankly, no interest in living my life. I couldn't make sense of what happened, what I'd experienced, or the loss of those 17 individuals. An email I received during that time, though, helped to direct my life and give me a sense of purpose after all of this. Lori Almadeff, mother of 14-year-old school shooting victim, Alyssa, was creating a non-profit organization called Make Our Schools Safe. Its mission is to empower students and staff to help create and maintain a culture of safety and vigilance in the secure school environment. The ability to express myself and voice my feelings of loss and sadness was made a bit easier with tremendous support around me. That has made all the difference. I am hopeful that sharing my story with others will prove to be my greatest success. I am so grateful to have found my voice and look forward to celebrating my dad's next birthday by making a first toast.
Trauma, sexual abuse, inappropriate play, elementary school, perpetrator, church worker, 10 years old. Told it was my fault. There were signs of abuse, bedwetting, church, pastor, swept right under the rug. Guilt, fear, disbelief, not being believed. There's recovery, wellness, and health. Embrace healing, acceptance, alive, courageous, hopeful, and loved.
Mental health, financial peace. Poverty is on attack, causing families to lack. It seems at times that death is the only option, and that's a fact. As I challenge my days and I fight through my nights, chasing after death to fight for what's right, hoping that one day the less fortunate will see some light. I destroy the energy that death thinks it has over the stranger, neighbor, me, or my family, because that's not the plan that the universe has for me. The rage is just a page that gives me the energy to stand on this stage, to share my tears and express my tears on an open page. The cage is no more. My pain is now a door that has opened a platform to something bigger than ever before.
Deep inside, there was an anger I could no longer hide. It was hidden so deep, like the secrets my family chose to keep. We all know the truth, but we won't say it peaked. But not me. I want to be free. Masked with a smile and nice pleasantries, my pain went without detection, and then I experienced a course correction. Two things happened to me, in which the survival of the fittest became my mantra selection. I started remembering abuse that was formerly labeled as acts of correction. These were things that I had forgotten for my own self-protection. Spare the rod or you spoil the child seemed to be a matter of convention. I was whipped naked until I fell asleep. And now I'm on a mission, like the skin they chose to peel. I need to desperately feel. I need to begin to heal. Change up the narratives of my family and view. This is my appeal. I need to feel again.
As a child, I remember feeling sad, alone, anxious, and fearful. I also had low self-esteem and got angry a lot. I believed there had to be something wrong with me. It was not normal to be this way. I concluded that ending my life was the only way out. I felt a failure. It was surreal the day I held a knife and calmly contemplating taking my life. But God had other plans for me. My story was not over by a long shot, and only by the grace of God can I tell you I made it through one of the darkest periods of my life. It hasn't been easy, yet I am in recovery, and it is a process, little by little and step by step. I have more good days and bad days now, and I'm grateful and thankful for each one.
My name is Dave. I am in long-term recovery for substance abuse, alcohol abuse. I've been clean 8 years now. It sure takes a village, and coming out here sharing our stories, it really helps end the stigma, because look, these people here are doing stuff with their life. They're upstanding members of society. They're helping people who've been in their situation. And there's nothing more better gift than to be able to do that. I wrote this song. I do have recovery from mental health issues as well too. But a lot of times, it's not. People just don't know what to say to somebody, and really all it is just sit next to them. Buy them groceries, listen to them. But people are always telling me, keep on smiling. Like, how is that gonna help? It's just gonna make me feel depressed, but with a smile. Hey. So I wrote this song that's kind of like, to talk about that. So I hope you like it. First of all, thank everybody here back here. Is through an incredible amount of pain that we grow, and they've definitely been through it. So thank you.
It's Dave Green, Tom Brady. Please give it up for these guys once again. Please give it up for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, David Green, our final performance of the evening. We do invite you to come to the lobby and chat with some of our brave cast members. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this moment with us. We hope you'll continue to support This Is My Brave.
Voices. I know we're inside.